what do you think is like the number one reason people who want to be in relationships now are not and they're single?
I'll let you answer that first.
Maybe unrealistic expectations of what they're looking for, what's going to fulfill them. You know, like, I'm lonely, I want to be with someone, so I need someone who talks really nice, or who can provide, or who looks a certain way, who can sweep me off their feet with their words. I feel like that's not the bar. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there needs to be some attraction, but you're single because you have this unrealistic expectation that someone's going to come sweep you off your feet, fulfill all of your needs, when in reality it's not fulfilled by a partner. I really do believe that in the Bible, when it says seek first the kingdom of God and all these things shall be added to you, it's like, what is that desire of your heart? That God be the one to fulfill it, or is it like, I'm lonely, I need someone to come and take care of me, or to notice me? And I think that that's probably what's keeping some people single.
Yeah. And when when I talk to people about that, they don't want to change their they're like, and part of me agrees with them, like, they use the words like, I'm not going to settle, I'm not going to lower my standards,
Sure.
yada yada, and I agree with that. Like, yeah, don't settle, don't lower your standards. But I think kind of what you're talking about is diversifying, because it takes a village to like meet somebody's needs, right? It can't be one person. God first.
Sure.
And then, you need friends, you need a hobby, you need whatever, like, but we kind of want, I think, and I don't know if this is wrong or right. Love your guys' opinion on it, but people do want that like person who's feels like their best friend, who's makes them laugh, who they share interests with, who
I love that. All of that's wonderful, right? All these little cherries on top, but that core foundation of, what, like, you can't have everything, right? We don't have everything. Nobody can have everything, but what is that like foundation, or that core of that ice cream sundae? It's like, it's the ice cream. It's like the scoops at the bottom, and if you don't have that that character that you're looking for, I think sometimes, I'll speak for women, sometimes women and maybe men are looking for it to be wrapped up in a certain package. Like, I have to feel this level of attraction, and there needs to be this like magic, and they have to be able to speak this way. And, maybe this person in front of you can be right for you, but maybe they just don't have all of that finesse and polish that we expect to feel and to see. Those sparks and these feelings, and sometimes it's, those feelings are misleading. It's not necessarily those feelings of love and the feeling of attraction that's going to lead to something that's lasting.
I think I heard it explained one way, in that older generations, more of them had reached that peak, right? They were married and they were happy, but their peak was a little lower than what it is now. Like, less people are getting married, but their peak that they want, like the peak that they're looking for like, and the people who do reach those really happy, successful marriages, like, their peaks are higher than prior generations.
What do you mean by peaks?
Like how good they are together, how happy they are together, because they're expecting more now. And so when they do, and people do, like, there are people like that who do meet someone who has like so much, like has it all, that they feel like that, at least. And everybody wants to be those few couples, not everyone's going to be those couples, but
I would beg to differ. I think that that if you call it our parents' generation, but previous generations might have been happier because, for example, if I take you to In-N-Out and I say, hey, do you want to go to In-N-Out? Yes, you do. What are you going to order? you got to order a burger, right?
Yeah.
And generally you walk out content that you went to In-N-Out and you had a great burger. If I take you to Cheesecake Factory, I go to Cheesecake Factory and I'm so confused. Like there is a million options. I guess I could eat Chinese. No, wait a second. I guess I could eat Mexican food.
Yeah.
Oh wait, and then you're like torn and you don't even know what to order. And then you flip flop and then it's a world of confusion.
Yeah.
And do you leave any happier? Like at the end, I might even order a burger from there too. But am I any happier versus the place that I go? And there's just a couple options. Maybe it's more than just what In-N-Out has, but there's just a few options. I pick one of those options, and I'm satisfied. And it's also what you tell yourself. Your voice inside your head is very important. So this voice inside your head. The problem is that with the younger generations, the voice inside their head is telling them, this isn't the peak. Like you still haven't found the perfect one. Maybe if you swipe right one more time, that next one could be the perfect one.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yes, you've been with 10 guys, but you know what? Those guys were just mediocre. I bet you if you went out with 10 more guys, you'd find a better one, or girls, or whatever. I'm not picking on women, but the idea is this idea of easy to access more.
Yeah.
More doesn't necessarily bring more happiness, and more doesn't necessarily bring better selection, right? Like let's say you lived in a small village of 500 people, right? Or 500 marriage age people. And so you're going to pick one of 500. If you really looked, I'm sure one of those 500 would suit your needs, and and especially if you didn't know about anybody else, you just know only the people in your tribe or only people in your space, you could be happy. And you actually might be even happier because you're not comparing them to a million other people that you've been with. Versus now, if you've dated 100 girls and now you're going to marry the 101st girl now, right? You're going to be like, well, she's really sweet, but not as sweet as Karen, and not as kind as this person, and not as beautiful as this person. Like, everybody has their own qualities, and you're going to compare each one against the other, and no one's going to really win. Even if you find one that has a general consensus of qualities, I'm sure there's some of the others that had certain things that they were extremely better at. Like one was extremely caring or giving or whatever. So even though this person has a general batch of qualities, but they're not as, and then you're going to label like one thing.
Well, and then that kind of thinking is toxic. Right?
Exactly. So then you'll never be happy. You'll never walk away with happiness. I think when they say ignorance is bliss, you need a little bit of that in marriage, because if you're not ignorant and you know about all other kinds of people and are comparing your spouse to all other kinds of people, it's tough, because that person has to, the bar is very high, and it might even be a realistic bar that you're trying to hold them to. And like Susan said, you might want to choose something of actual substance, like when men use attraction as a gauge of who they want to date. I think that's very bad, because looks aren't forever. And yes, you should be generally attracted to the person, but their attraction on a scale of 1 to 10 shouldn't be like how you choose them as a life partner, right? Because there's so much more that a person has to bring to the table than their looks.
Right.
So I feel like people are judging each other based on either shallow things, which don't hold a lot of weight for very long, or this culture that we're in where the more the better. And if I could just meet more people, I would find someone even better. I think that sort of could cloud your happiness. It doesn't necessarily give you more ecstasy. It might even hinder what you have.